Based on how I look, you may also assume, not only am I a woman and I'm white, but you may also assume that I'm a lesbian. 2 points for you, okay? I actually identify as a dyke, but that word seems to ruffle some people's feathers, so we'll use lesbian instead. Okay, if you want to know the difference, I have a workshop later. So, I may get privilege points from some of you for being like, she's one of me. And I get privilege points for them. I don't have any control over that. I don't even have any control over how many privilege points I get. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, she's going to talk about homosexuality. I'm taking chips back. Okay, that's a possibility. While I'm having this conversation, y'all are shuffling my chips. In your head, when you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? I'm confused, what's happening? You are shuffling chips. And what I find is that there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of defensiveness and denial that comes up. And that's why we can't do something, because we don't really know what to do. We only know we really want to do something. Changing the universe. Have any of you changed the universe today? All of your hands should be up, because you have, I promise, and I'm going to show you how. As we get into this, I want to talk about 2 skills. Because at the heart of it, I'm always an educator. So the first skill is called tracking. And the second skill is called triggering. Okay? How many of you are RAs, resident assistant equivalents, something like that? Okay. I love that RAs are like, me! I am! Do you need a bulletin board? I can help you. Right. I started as an RA too. So the reason why I bring that up is that some people have to write like incident reports or something, which are objective observations. You're supposed to write down exactly what happens with no judgment. This is hard. So that means when you knock on a door, you don't say, that asshole is drinking again. You say, the resident in room 117 appears to be having alcoholic beverages in his domain. How many of you saw Finding Nemo? Okay, that was like the first movie I saw on a DVD. It was very exciting for me. So, Finding Nemo, there's a character that lives in the aquarium at the dentist office. It's a blowfish, right? And do you remember the part where they're really struggling to get the little pebble in, and the anxiety and the pressure is freaking out the blowfish, and all of a sudden the blowfish is like, and like it's completely useless and a whole other problem everybody else has to deal with, right? That fish got triggered. That's the best like visual for what I'm talking about when I talk about triggering. When you go out with your friends, and you're having like a super great time, everything's fine, and all of a sudden your friend comes up and is like, we have to leave right now. And you're like, WTF, why are we leaving? What happened? Right? Your friend got triggered by something. One of my other tenets is that I believe that at the root of all of my good intentions and my good actions and my good thoughts, at the root of it, I am an asshole. I'm here to tell you, so are you. We're in a collection, okay? The reason why I put that out there is that also part of privilege, and regardless of your ability, age, race, ethnicity, culture, religion, citizenship, natural language, etc., regardless of those things, you are privileged. Everyone sitting in this room and standing is privileged. Through that privilege, we are trying to be perfect. Like, first of all, I am not your typical diversity trainer. You are about 5-10 minutes in, maybe you haven't figured that out yet. I should also mention that a goal of mine is if you leave this room comfortable, that's really your own fault. Here is an idea. Why don't we work with the judgments and assumptions that we are currently making and figure out how to make better judgments and assumptions? Isn't that just a phenomenal concept? It's such a better concept that you're never supposed to do it. What's important is that you ultimately are the only thing you've got control over. Especially talking to student leaders, all of your following, your delegates, the people that you're supposed to be changing the universe for, yeah, you really can't make that happen. Sorry to disappoint you. You can give opportunities for them to do it. And while you're creating those opportunities for them to do it, what's really cool is you're actually changing your own life. It's these opportunities that you're bringing to yourself that's making you better. You then are a better role model, etc., for other people. And then I believe, using military language, we're building a militia of people who get it. How nice is that? This program that I'm planning, not only is every single student enrolled in this institution going to come to this program and learn a lot, but I'm going to expect everyone in my county to also come, maybe even the state. All of them coming here right now. We plan these things that are so ginormous so that when 7 people come, to your program, learn a lot, have a really great time, we typically leave disappointed. Is anyone here with me on this about programming? You've spent a lot of money, you've spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, and 7 people showed up. But if those 7 people are learning, that's really important. So if everyone, maybe 10% of the time, is thinking about their realm of influence, then we are actually impacting a really large group. How our culture has taught us is to focus on our subordinate identities. As a woman, I can rattle off why men have it easier. Because I'm not a man, I can see that. Right? Now men, you more than likely didn't choose to be a man, but you probably have been living as a male for a really long time, as a man for a really long time, as a masculine person for a really long time, and you may have been reaping some of those privileges without really trying. Okay? My men-identified people in the room, would you agree with that? You don't usually wake up in the morning and go, today I'm going to support patriarchy. Right? But as women, I've organized several programs where today we're going to kick patriarchy's ass. Coming from this subordinated place is a huge unifying way to build community. It's a great way to get some energy going, but I don't believe it's successful in making a lot of change. I think that it's very successful in building community, because there's nothing better than a bitch fest of a potluck at a lesbian dinner. Lots of big words ending in ist and archy involved in dinner there. And it feels good to be with people who think like me and who are part of me, and I think it's really important to have those community spaces. But when we're talking about social justice, you're gonna have to get uncomfortable. And that means I'm gonna have to leave some tofu casserole and go to a place where my privilege is and start making change there. What I encourage you to do is to take what's really hard, what's really complicated, what's really saying, no, you shouldn't do this. Be that in your personal actions, be that in your programming. When you're planning programs and someone tells you this program's been done before and it flopped, nobody's going to come to this is never going to work, this isn't big enough, this is not going to make a big enough impact. How many of you have heard that voice before? Nope, this is dumb, this is stupid, don't do this. I believe that that is the personified voice of institutionalized oppression. We don't necessarily apologize for the crap that's in our head. That may not be our fault that it's in our head, but it is our responsibility. When we apologize, we tend to apologize because we got caught. We know we're not supposed to do certain things publicly. In the South, there's front porch behavior and there's back porch behavior. You don't have to have a porch to do that. Okay. I'm not saying that all the work that was done in the 60s was for naught. I'm not saying all the work that was done in the 50s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and now is for naught. We have a lot of work to do.